We're back for the final game of day 3 of the groups of EU Masters 2020 Summer. It's a very long title. I'm Penguin, of course, this is Trouble Inc. Coming into our final game, I don't think we were expecting to be as hyped for this matchup as I am. Samsung.
Do you care to tell everyone why you're excited?
So the matchup coming up is Samsung Morningstar versus K1ck Neosurf. And Samsung Morningstar beat the LDLC champions, of course, yesterday.
Before you explain, tell them what you told me when we're doing prep.
I believe...
No, I'm going to put you out there right now.
You're going to throw me under the bus. Fine. I will say it right here, right now. I believe, having spoken to the Italian casters from the PG Nats...
Okay, go on.
And all my different sources, Morningstars...
Yes?
...will win the whole thing. I genuinely believe it. And I want to see how they do it on this one because... These guys have such an incredibly good style that I just really, really love. And you cannot tell, having spoken to Moonboy, shout out to Moonboy if you don't follow him, a fantastic Italian caster. He told me pretty much everything. You can't guess what these guys are going to do. They don't play standard and they don't play off meta. They just play them. And I'm so excited.
What did we say about minor regions? We don't want them coming in, playing the front to back, playing a game that another team has actually basically perfected. They've been playing for years. They're coming in as the minor region that they're bringing in their own playstyle, and it seems to have worked. The question that's been raised here, though, is are they going to be K1ck? K1ck are finalists of the previous split.
Yeah, this is the thing. Can you beat out LDLC, who won?
I'm actually going to ask you, because I know you have a really nice answer there. Are Morningstar going to beat K1ck?
Yes. Thank you. That's my answer. No, I genuinely believe they can. So the way this team works as well with Nidalee is such an amazing player to play around because this guy has just got such an incredible champion Ocean. He plays Nasus. He plays so many different tank top laners that you feel like shouldn't go into mid lane and wins with them. Not only that, their coach is actually a coach that has won 4 out of the last 6 PG Nats with 3 different organizations. This guy is actually so damn smurf. I'm so excited to see them on the international stage. But
we saw Morningstars beat an LDLC that are really at their lowest lows right now. We just saw them fumble under pressure and we're like, is it LDLC or is it actually the other teams being too strong? I think it's both. It's Morningstar, showing up and LDLC never did, at least in this far in the group stages. So I feel like K1ck have a chance to claim first place in the group, assert their dominance over the team that took the finals away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see now K1ck looking for a redemption, if you will. We talked about that finals rematch that will be happening tomorrow, but they've got to get through Morningstar, and I feel like Morningstar should be able to have a little bit of a I hate the word cheese. I don't like the word cheese. A spicy draft for them to kind of have
some sort of surprise.
Yeah, something in their sleeve to be able to.
So far,
really
it's standard though.
It's pretty standard. It's pretty standard. We see the Ashe being first picked, of course, by K1ck. They are obviously going to go for that one as the Caitlyn was banned away. But then Ezreal's a very good lock-in as well as the Gangplank, who's just a generally solid top lane blind pick.
Isn't that too early? We don't necessarily see a Gangplank being locked in way too early. What are they? I think they're scared of IBO. They're like, if you take away all these weak side top laners that deal well with everyone, even if they fall behind, they're still relevant, what are we gonna play? I think they're extremely scared of IBO. And I'll tell you what, IBO is my dad's favorite player in the world.
I thought you were gonna say IBO is my dad. I was like, that took a twist.
No, basically, since 2020 spring, my dad started watching EU Masters, and IBO back then was a beast Aatrox in the top lane. And my dad was like, well, the other top laners don't know, they're noobs, like Aatrox is the real deal, and IBO plays that so well. And he actually remembered, when this EU Masters happened, he's like, is the Polish team still in it? I'm like, yes. Is the top guy still there? I'm like, yes, that he is. He's like, yeah, they're gonna win again. Yeah,
and whoever picks him up will grab a fan, so LEC teams, you know what to do. Gain a fan, pick up IBO. But of course, we're going to...
Trouble that analyst.
Perfect combo. You gain a fan, an analyst, perfect.
Yeah.
But looking at these picks now, we see the Nidalee and Graves locked in, bot lane locked in as well for the side of K1ck. So they've got themselves the Ashe and Nautilus. That's a hell of a lot of engage and a hell of a lot of CC you're bringing in there. Both sides going with farming junglers as well. I feel like if you're a side of Morningstar, and they are doing it, you're going to be banning mid laners because you're going to look to try and get Nidalee something that he's comfortable going into.
Also, you gotta get Azir, I think, out of the way here, because Azir is something that grants priority for Graves to roam around all he wants, get into your jungle camps, take them, and then bail out. So Nidalee is gonna have a hard time if, you know, she's fine versus the Graves, but when she has an Azir, she sees an Azir next to him, she's gonna have to back off, and Nidalee is a champion that, I call this champion sort of like a 50-50. It's a champion that if he doesn't go well in the early, it's like a written out of the books champion.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one there. And you can see K1ck, and you called it, the Azir, going to be banned away from them, unfortunately, for the side of K1ck, fortunately for the side of Morningstar. Pantheon banned by K1ck, and I'm curious, these bans, the first 3 came in super fast. These last 4 are coming in so slowly. They're trying to 5D chess each other. And I feel like
they're trying to figure out what Nita wants to play. It's like, is this Gangplank going mid lane?
I knew you would think that, so I thought that you thought I thought.
Is Gangplank going mid lane? What is happening?
Exactly, you just don't know. So the Nidalee hypothetically could go there as well. I don't really want to see it.
Like season 2?
I know, right? Oh my god. Gragas Nidalee, just barrels and
it was basically Seraphs.
Yes.
Archangel stuff into straight Death Cap in the mid lane.
I know. I think it was actually Deathfire Grass.
With Nidalee?
Yeah, because Deathfire Grass was busted.
The Deathfire Grass was like with the lead Spain, so it was like the Execute Nidalee and the Poke Nidalee.
Pretty much. Yeah. We won't talk about that because it's almost certainly not going to happen, but we are going to see Ibo on a carry champion. We're going to see him up on top side with the Camille.
So good.
Galio going to the mid lane. K1ck picking up a fairly strong team fighting comp right now. They can single out targets, they can initiate, they can save with the Galio. A lot of utility here for this team.
I really like what they're doing here. The Galio can exert a lot of pressure in the mid lane. You'll get priority for the Graves. Graves thrives when he has priority mid lane, and someone to accompany him in the jungle. You don't like the Corki? Too basic?
I hyped him up so hard.
Maybe it's the Gangplank mid.
I wanted Nasus.
The Leona?
I'd take the Leona mid. That'd be hype. It won't happen, but because, you know, no one cares about me. But, but of course, looking at these 2 compositions now, Corki very, very safe into the Galio. Pretty much going to be able to follow him wherever he goes. Even with level 6, you've got the package as well. You've got options.
It's hard for him.
It is hard, but you've got options.
It's hard for him because Corki's mana hungry at the start. Galio's going to be able to push the lane, roam with the Graves, and the Nidalee from the Hunter becomes the hunted in her own jungle because Corki cannot follow up. I'll agree with you. You know, when later on, you know, you get the blue buff, you get the package at minute 8, you will look to roam, but then there's a Galio that will look to roam with you. So I feel when it comes to composition-wise, I feel like K1ck have knocked it out of the park. They have so much engaged. They have so much chase.
How many times have we said that?
True.
Yeah. Good drafts does not always mean good wins, ladies and gentlemen. But I do agree with you. K1ck looking very, very strong. Very meta draft coming out for them overall on 10.16. I want to see if they're able to kind of ruffle some feathers from the side of K1ck, but we actually haven't really talked about K1ck that much at all because I was just so damn excited about Morningstar. These are the guys, like we said, from the finals. They had an entire revolution of Puki style going in. Arbs as one of the nicest guys you can ever see.
Even SKT changed the profile picture.
Everyone was changing it. I'm pretty sure a couple of Chinese teams did as well. Like,
there were some celebrities as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they were just doing it because they were like, all right, cool.
Well, if everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing it. I got to do it. But that's what I want to see from this team. I want to see them go that next step. Like, again, we talked about Poland. They got the 3 seeds this year because of K1ck's performance, because of Rogue's previous performances. I want to see them take it that next step further, go for the win, and I want to see them do it convincingly right now.
And this is the time to do it because you will assert dominance, beating the team that's beat LDLC. I think it sends a message straight away. It's like, if these guys beat you and we beat them, wait until tomorrow when we face you.
That's exactly it as well. And it's kind of almost terrifying for an LDLC fan. But look,
I think they're terrified already. They're 0-2.
Yeah,
don't beat them when they're down.
I don't think they expect it to be 0-2 with Samsung. But looking at K1ck as well, we're looking at them from a side of, you know, how dominant of a win does this need to be? Like you said, LDLC not really looking like they're at the races. Is Samsung Morningstar's win just a fluke?
So, in the previous EU Masters, I sort of researched Shlatan and Matislaw a lot, and I figured out that Shlatan is not much without his other half, Matislaw. And it's usually Matislaw that's gonna take a step back and try to make Shlatan look good. For Shlatan to be unlocked, Matislaw needs to make the move. Here with a Galio, that's exactly what happened. And he's facilitating that hard farming, invading jungler to do well. You look in the top side, you have Aibo on a carry. You couldn't ask for anything else. Aatrox last split, Camille on this one. You're looking further down, Puki style is sort of playing these setup ADCs that will create room for you, that will create the engage for you, and of course bringing in Mystiques that's also played in the LEC, bringing in that voice, that experience on an engaged champion. You could see a lot of roams around the map as well.
And for K1ck, you talked about Mystiques, obviously ex-LEC, should be arguably a lot of people saying he should be on some kind of LEC team going into 2021. He's a fantastic support player. But even looking down the road, Aibo, Matislaw, Shlatan, they're no strangers to EU Masters. They are mainstays. They were here last year. They got all the way to the, the final stages, the finals weekend, in 2019. So they know how they have to play on this particular one. And already, Mystiques and Puki style just using that Nautilus pressure, using the power that an early Ashe has to be able to bully out this bot lane from Samsung.
And a lot of times you pick the Ezreal into the Ashe because you play onto that sort of range. But Guubi here is going to have to be extremely careful because once the slow applies, the Ashe will chase you down and the Nautilus will make it that much easier. And it's not just Guubi, it's also K'LICK on the Leona. She's not necessarily that tanky at the early stages of the game, and Ashe is an ADC that makes trades that much harder in the early game because it pumps out that much more damage when she stacks her Q.
Again, not much expected in this early game. As I say that, flash in, getting the exhaust down, but Mystiques has lost himself a hell of a health bar, and that was very brave. And honestly, if you go in there, and I feel like if Samsung Morningstar commit to that, you lose. You lost 2 summoners, gained 1. That's a straight up loss.
Yeah, they tried to get them on the level 1 because Guubi didn't have the arcane shift to get away, possibly burn his flash and then continue the chase and lock him underneath his tower. Didn't pan out that way. There was a huge wave in front of Puki style. He couldn't even poke with his volley of volley of arrows. Maybe later on it will be a volley of arrows after he's thrown so many. But,
We wait and hope for the Riot update, or just like becomes ever map sprawling. A W that just hits out like in all 360 directions.
Yeah, but can you imagine, like in a lot of movies, when somebody throws an arrow, the arrow stays on the floor? What if every time Ashe threw a volley, you would see the arrows on the floor? Then it would be a volley of arrows.
Kind of like Cinder Balls if they stayed there forever. Yeah, I see it. I see the future. The future of League of Legends.
Please no. Please.
That would require such a strong PC to have all those assets.
Very true. The toasters would have to come back.
Yeah, the potatoes. We don't have toasters in Ireland. We just have potatoes.
Yeah, right.
It's how we work it. It's how our technology works. But back to the game in hand. Again, nothing apart from that bot side going in favor of Samsung as of yet. And you can see there, Shlatan just hovering towards this bot side. The wave is pushing in towards K1ck, but he is just going to reset and let that one go straight away.
And if you look at the camps, Shlatan is already done and dusted with the first clear. And Nidalee is still almost going forward, but remember, that Nautilus still down there. There's a lot of poke. Luckily for them, they're spotting Eckas on the bot side, which means that Shlatan is going to have a really good time on the top quadrant.
Eckas just going to try and push this one up as best he can with his team, get his team a nice little cheater recall, get that tier going as well. But here is Matislaw just roaming up, like you said, able to just kind of own up towards that jungle, which means the StenBosse has to play respectful, needs to back away, and he's going to lose so much farm from that.
And Nidalee will have to spend so much money to try and push the wave back, to try and make priority for Eckas, and then StenBosse also has to show respect, which means he loses XP and gold, and Shlatan gets to do whatever he wants around the map. They engage on Nida, I think.
They go in onto Mystiques, though, before they go into Nida. Nida is dropping down towards this bot side. Mystiques has no flashes, relying on that blast cone, but first blood to the Italians. Now can they get out alive? Puki style is still there, looking to kite. Not able to get it. Nida was on his way down as well, but overall, first blood to Samsung.
you absolutely do not want to fight the level 6 that K1ck have. So that was a great sort of skirmish from SMS. They're like, okay, we're going to pull them to the dragon and try to fight them now before they get all these huge follow-up ultimates. And Mystiques, without his summoners, walks a little bit too far forward, gets locked down, and that Nidalee can really punish you in the early game.
Yeah, Nidalee able to just kind of turn and burn there with the Leona, but that does mean that with the returning backs that Samsung Morningstar had to take in, that first strike is going to go over to K1ck. It does start that ball rolling for them. But overall, I want to say as well, just noticing on Puki's style, he went for the double Doran's plate. He's going for that early punch, the level 6, like you said. This is very, very important for him to know that he needs to make this work, otherwise he's going to be a little bit far behind. It's not going to be massively behind, but if it doesn't work out 100%, it can definitely delay you towards those power spikes.
It can't delay you, but if you look around, Ashe is not necessarily the only carry you have. You're going to have the Graves, you're going to have Eyeball into the Camille doing massive amounts of damage. He's really farmed. He's 11 CS ahead of the Gangplank actually, so he's fine up there. And Puki style is not going to be your facilitator. He's going to slow people down for you so you can read them. He's going to arrow them so you can read them. He's going to create vision pouches around the map for you so you know where Eckas is at all times. So it's fine if he falls a little far behind. It's not the end of the game.
And for K1ck as well, winning on top side, pretty much even across the board everywhere else. Where do you want to see them go? Where do you want to see them look to try and get these advantages now that people are starting to hit that level 6 mark?
I think the easier choice would be the Camille down the top lane because she has the guaranteed lockdown. You'll have Matislaw hard solving that mid lane, Shlatan in the top, you see Eyeball engaging, and then the Galio comes slamming down because you unfortunately cannot flash Camille ultimate. That's the sad truth.
You seem really upset.
I was really,
I was like, are you all right?
I'm like, this is illegal because I'm like, Thresh also puts a cage, but you can walk out.
It will take you a while, but yes, you can walk out of it.
Or you can flash out of it.
Can do, yes. Camille does kind of knock you down with the Hextech ultimatum, and we can see now with the pressure in mid lane,
they're going top side
towards the top side. Like you said, those level 6s are available. StenBosse has got his as well. Ibo's just straight up taking this fight. Does take a turret hit though, and the health bars are relatively equal. So
that's the package.
Package is there. They're going to maybe look for something here, but Shlatan finally gets himself behind. But if he walks that little bit forward, he's going to be spotted. I'm not sure if he's just on the edge of vision. He might just be.
I don't know if you want to do that with Corki having the package right there, but Shlatan has been spotted right here. Luckily for him, it was Eckas resetting at this point, so he can't get anything from actually spotting the Graves. But they're looking for that top lane. They're looking to put that Gangplank further behind and try to accelerate that Camille. But unfortunately, with the Corki having the package, you cannot push the button too hard because you can get punished.
Yeah, you can get very, very punished.
They've gotten punished once so far.
Yeah, I'm going to try and maybe go for this Rift Herald as well, because the Rift Herald in the early game, we always hear about it, is getting kind of, it's a very slow objective. They have got vision and a package is available. Do Samsung Morningstar want to go for this? Ibo is there, as is Matislaw. Ults are available and the bot lane is pushing up. They just use the package defensively. They don't want anything to do with it just yet. They back themselves up. It will be K1ck who pick up that objective.
There were a lot of pings coming through from the Samsung bot lane. They were like, please back off. You know, oh, they got the Corki.
They got the Corki. They're going to jump straight back on top of him on the CC chain. You talked about it. Level 6 on the Ashe, and there's nothing you can do. Flash in for Matislaw. 1-1 on the scoreboard.
Oh, there's more.
There is more. They're going to use the Hextech ultimatum. Can StenBosse get out of this, though? He does keep his orange so late. Great discipline there from the top laner. And he's able to keep himself alive. Doesn't even have to burn flash. Very nicely done.
Something that Naita was not actually able to say because he ended up going down. The level 6 is just so strong. And K1ck put SMS in a position where, like, you come and fight us. We have the stronger level 6. K1ck pulls out. SMS pull out, but they still find the pick right there. Naita, unfortunately, was just not fast enough with his flash button and ends up paying the price.
And you can see there, you talked about it, the power you gain when you have that just little extra long engage with the Ashe arrow. It doesn't have to be miles away, it just has to be far enough away that you can kill them off as soon as it hits. So very, very nicely layered there by K1ck. They're finding themselves back on the board. And this game is so even. Apart from those two objectives, which is literally the Rift Herald yet to be used, and the Ocean Drake, it's only about 200-300 gold either side.
Yeah, but right now we're seeing that the Nidalee is also farming. that's not what you should be doing on the Nidalee. You need to look for these early spears. You need to look for the early damage, these early dragons.
Well, I agree with you, but I would say that later in the game...
Don't give me the story of later in the games, he heals so much.
No, I was going to say the spears do a lot of damage. Like the spears after like a couple of items
not if you're
will start
Galio
to
and Nautilus.
Yeah, but if that lands onto the Ashe, you're going to take a good chunk of your health. I feel like, you know, I agree with you. Should be looking for those dragons, not playing a little bit more passive than we probably hoped to see, but definitely see the merit in it if they don't feel like they can take those fights.
True. I'll agree with that.
Speaking of taking those fights, Solar Flare down, Mystiques is out. There's the Cannon Barrage as well, which means there is no re-engage available for the side of K1ck, and that is a clean kill coming in for Samsung.
Mystiques has been the recipient of the kickback that they face every single time they misstep slightly, and this is the proactivity that I wanted to see from the Nidalee. You know, you get the stun that early, the spear hurts. Later on, it's gonna have to be the opposite. It's gonna have to be Nidalee poking first, and then you'll see the Leona going in, because when you're playing the poke composition, the poke needs to land first, the engage comes second. But again, they take something and they back off. They don't take any objective, and Shlatan, sleep and you miss it? What's it called?
Blink and you
blink and you'll miss it. There you go. Sleep? Okay.
Slip and you break your back.
I'm just thinking of the Schalke game before too many sleeps, you know.
But yeah, absolutely agree. Because they did not have full control, Aibo was able to get from top lane down to mid lane. He's going full in onto this bot lane, on top lane right now. They're able to have that, you know, that kind of advantage with the TP as well. So the side of Samsung, yes, you're picking up these kills, but you're losing these objectives. They need to start turning these around very quickly.
Oh, Puki style Mystiques are going to have to be extremely careful because they're going to have company very, very soon.
Yeah, they smelled something was up with that Cloud Soul could be up in about 2 or more dragons' time. You get that extra speed boost, so you need to be even more careful when you can't have vision of the mid laner. Top lane, though, is being focused out here by the Graves. You can see Shlatan working with Aibo. They now know where SteelBosse is. StenBosse. He could be SteelBosse. He hasn't died yet. As they look to try and
you say that.
They're going to jump straight out. He flashes, just going to get the Hextech ultimatum, and he is dead and gone. But here comes the rest of Samsung Morningstar. Do they look to try and re-engage? The spear misses. They don't get the extra damage from that Q. He needs to use the Rift Tail pretty damn soon, though, because that's about the timeout.
Penguin, talk to me about caster first.
Don't. This is too early. Too early for that just yet, and I believe in Moonboy.
So, again, that proactivity coming in from K1ck. They know that Aibo has been slapping StenBosse in the top lane. They're adding Shlatan right there with the Graves. They're taking the advantage. They're cashing in on plates.
From downtown, there's this Ashe ultimate hitting. They're not able to capitalize on it, though, because the TP was put in. Puki style.
The bicep, very strong,
Very, very strong. All the way down from the bot lane, having an influence on his team. And while that was happening, Matislaw takes pressure into the mid lane. They gain themselves a huge amount of plate gold as well. That gives the side of K1ck not a huge, but a decent gold difference coming in now to these mid-game fights.
And remember what we said from the start. No one cares about Puki in this composition. It's all about the Graves, it's all about the Camille, and these were the recipients of all the gold that went down from the turret platings on the top side. Now you'll see the Camille is gonna go back, and it's probably gonna be super close, if not actually having the Trinity Force, which is where K1ck will be more than happy to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's 1,200 gold lead up on that top side. Pretty equal pretty much everywhere else. 500 in the mid lane. And then actually a bit of an advantage in bot side, as I see like Guubi has just had time to farm. He hasn't
had 2 kills as well.
He has 2 kills, of course. He's been a beneficiary of those 2 as well. But I feel like this Ezreal will become a slight problem to the side of K1ck if they don't keep it under check. But Aibo has been looking very, very powerful. Like you said, almost towards that Triforce, has himself a 40 CS lead. Feeling pretty good about himself right now, and this is the guy that K1ck care about. This is the guy that will carry the game and will get them those wins.
And also, we can't forget Matislaw. We haven't necessarily seen a bomb yet. The Galio slamming himself down because it wasn't necessarily needed. I feel like both the side lanes, whenever they pull the trigger for a kill, the Matislaw was just not necessarily needed. As long as he keeps up with the Corki is going to outscale him later on, but the Galio will provide more for you. Will provide zoning, will provide control, and a taunt.
You see Matislaw taking every opportunity he can to just slip into that fog.
That top side has been invaded more times than their own jungle.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And that's just basically to secure that top turret. So first turret of the game going over to K1ck, and slow and methodical, they're picking this one up. They're being the ones that are able to kind of go for it. And with that top side going down, you have pressure to take the Rift Herald.
And I'm getting worried here, Penguin. Eckas has not done much this game. Sure, the spears will hurt, but only when the items start coming through. That might actually be an hourglass second item, has the tab ice as well. You're not going to ramp up the damage having the hourglass as second item. It's just not necessarily going to be there. And even though I do agree you're going to have an Ezreal and a Corki later on, how much later on is later on? Because these two carries spike on 2 items. They start spiking on 2 items. You know, the Trinity Force and the Mana Moon for both of them becoming more mana is where you generally want to start fighting when you have a Corki and Ezreal in your composition. But when K1ck is already ahead in items, they don't care about the 2-item power spike.
Absolutely, and we talk about 2 hours power spike, and the reason why we talk about that so much is that right now in 10.16, the meta is Dragons. Now, with the Rift Herald going down in mid lane, 30 seconds of that Dragons is spawning, they are going to be able to take that control, own this side of the map. They're going to look to try and just get Ibo back and get him back in with a teleport if they need it, because right now, Dragon vision is owned by the side of K1ck.
Instant reset. They take the mid lane tower, instant reset by everyone on K1ck. Look at all these control wards into their inventories. They're in it to win it. They're gonna go stack it up. The mana moons have not yet gotten stacked up. And Nida and Guubi are not gonna be able to output as much damage as they need in this next fight. Now there's a lot of questions surrounding, do you fight to break soul point? Or do you give it up to fight for soul? I'd say at this point, give it up and fight for soul. You need Trinity on your board.
I agree, you need Trinity on your Gangplank as well, but I think that also gives you, unfortunately, that you don't have a choice whether or not you want to fight at the next one.
You're fighting on the next one.
You have to fight at the next one if you do not want them to get that soul. The one saving grace for Samsung Morningstar is the Cloud Soul. Not exactly the most impactful in terms of raw stats, but
I like it. I like it with Ashe. You get that much more engaged.
You get a little bit more engaged, you get the cooldown reduction. It's still not going to give you like an Inferno or a Mountain where you have to burn through it. It's a little bit of extra movement speed, a little bit more annoying in terms of the
It's kind of like when you're not too excited, but you're like, we take those.
We take those, exactly. And you can see now bot side Samsung being corralled away from this turret, but K1ck not feeling confident with a 4v2 because they do not know where the Corki or the Nidalee are on the map. They do not want to take that fight just yet. Corki very, very close to his Triforce. And you can see that's exactly what Samsung want. They want to get Corki up to his Mana Mune and his Triforce and then look to try and fight.
I would actually like to see K1ck pull the trigger right there because they have TP advantage. They've got the TP onto their Camille, which is actually extremely fed right now. So does a fight break out? Does more people from SMS show up? You just shut them down or just heal?
Oh, here we go. There's the Galio ultimate as well, and that's going to be StenBosse.
Illegal.
Deleted and taken away. That was the combination you were talking about. The Hextech ultimatum into the grand entrance. There's not a lot you can do. Neither are going to be able to pick up the rest of this farm. They won't be able to pick up an objective from it. But what can you gain now from the side of K1ck? What are you looking to try and pressure?
You just pressure the jungle. You take complete vision. You choke Nidalee away from that farm, from farming up, from trying to reach that point where she will be doing more damage, which is impossible because she is indeed building towards that hourglass. So we're not going to necessarily get to see, it's either the hourglass or going towards the unholy grail. At this point, I would become a heal bot if I was Eckas. You're not going to be that carry. You cannot stack AP that much. Your junglers have been taken away and they will continuously be getting taken away due to you losing mid-tier 1 and bot towers from the top side. So all you have to hope for is healing your carries and them doing the damage for you. That's beautiful because it took him 18 minutes in this game to press R button. Not because he's incompetent at pressing R, but because he just was not needed.
Samsung really just kind of playing very, very passively. They're not really giving, kind of those big team fights. And I feel why the reason they're doing that is they're waiting for the Triforce and the Corki. Now with the stacked up and upgraded Muramana and the Ezreal as well. This is the moment. You need to start looking for fights now because in 2 minutes and just over 30 seconds on top of that, you are going to start looking at a Cloud Soul. They will give up another turret. It's going to be a 3,000 gold lead in favor of K1ck. And it's just slow, steady, wins the race. We know that.
I think this is what you have to do if you're SMS. You have to give them up. You have to give as much CS as possible to Nida. You see him, he's all isolated up in the top lane because he needs the Phantom, needs the Trinity. K1ck understand that. They know that the Corki is not going to join, and they take advantage of the bodies that they have more in bot lane.
And they have vision control as well on that bot side. You can see we've got a pink ward very deep. We will see the Corki coming back at any point whatsoever. And I want to see Samsung do something right now. The one thing that we didn't really talk about is that they're only real engaged on that fight. And a fight is Click on this Leona. It has to be Leona. Oh, sorry, excuse me. You did mention it. And it's very hard for them to find
we kind of did it like back and forth, right? Because at the start, when Eckas on the Nidalee does hurt in the early stages because no one itemizes against the AP, hold on. Matislaw is looking for a solo kill.
It is looking for a solo queue. We're going to see the package not available. I'm going to be used. Nidalee trying to get himself away. Flashes. There's the cannon barrage. They're going to jump over the Hexacle Domain, but there's Leona. They do eventually kill him off. There's the Galio using the ultimate as well, which means Click gets knocked up. Has got his flash available. Here comes Guubi. Can he get himself onto this team? There's one kill traded, 2 for 1. He's able to jump on the Matislaw, and Samsung have finally come alive. They're not going to be able to kill that kill, and now K1ck are able to pinch in. They've got Puki style coming on the backside as well. There is the ultimate as well from the Nautilus, and the Puki style Ashe arrow is on point, and they get themselves 2 more kills. StenBosse goes down to Shlatan, and that is just perfect team fighting from K1ck.
I had my eyes on Puki style the entire time when he was walking down mid lane because I'm like, he's gonna hit another arrow from the other side of the map. Biceps proving to be what you need to hit these arrows cross map, but K1ck are just brute forcing their way in. The poke is not landing, there is no front line, everyone is squishy. K1ck knows that, they understand how far ahead they are, and they abuse that.
They are abusing it. Mystiques going to give himself up to just for the greater good.
Oh.
Actually, not even going to be able to get himself out. Baron goes over. Now they trade. The package has been used. Everyone from the side of K1ck gets out. You trade your support for Baron, even for a tower. You take that. That's an easy win. 20 seconds to this Cloud Drake, though. I don't know if K1ck have enough time to fully reset. And you can see that right now. They're going to chuck the Camille up on the top side with no TP and look to try and just divide everyone on the side of Samsung.
I think at this point, you don't care. You're just trying to stall as much as possible. If you K1ck, you don't need to reset. You're already ahead with the items that you have available to you. But we're looking at the Galio ultimate. I think this is very important for you to have if you're in a fight, because it's not just the defensive stats, it's not just the shield, it's also the big splash and the room. But talking about room, SMS gave themselves another 5 minutes of room to work with.
And this actually all started from the fact that Nidalee just got caught with his pants down, nowhere really to go. And
return to base to pick up the package.
Return, Corki.
And Matislaw is like, I'll help you with that.
Get you there a little bit quicker, and you can see there is a little bit of damage there. When Guubi comes in here, they almost look like they're going to be able to turn this one around. Shlatan can't really get into the fight. They kill Ibo off. Matislaw just about gets himself away.
Everyone look at Puki style. Everyone look at Puki style because he starts moving up then. I'm like, when is he gonna throw the arrow and is he gonna hit? Now it leaves Puki style and boom! He pulls him straight back. Mystiques, that was a beautiful anchor right there.
Beautiful anchor, but even just the fact that Puki style predicted the fact that he would flash.
He's done it twice.
Arcane Shift. Exactly, yeah, and just get that kind of long distance engage going. 0-0-2, but absolute the carry in our hearts right now.
He ain't the real carry, but he's the carry in our hearts.
He is the carry in our hearts right now. And right now, it's Samsung need to try and get something. This poke composition with the Corki, the Nidalee, the Ezreal, it's not really working out for them as much. They have got some push, though. They can maybe survive the next 2 minutes to try and get rid of this Baron. If they don't lose anything in their base, they have themselves a chance.
Plus, when you're looking for a poke composition...
There we go. Gangplank comes down. So does the Galio ultimate as they try and just jump into a hero's entrance on top of so many people. But the Gangplank ult is doing so much. That cannon barrage is clearing out health bars and clearing out minions. They have to back away. K1ck just push a little bit too far. The base is still standing. Samsung have themselves a lifeline.
I was about to say, it's impossible for a poke composition to find the target if you have so many Baron up minions pushing towards you. But what you can look to do is force K1ck into a dive and then clap back, and this is exactly what they did. Puki still was all the way back in base. He wasn't even around, and they pull a full V5 dive. They get punished for it. Luckily for them, they just lose Mystiques, but they also lose their tempo because they had 2 lanes pushing. All you have to do is wait for the minions to start crashing in, and slowly but surely take the towers.
And right now, I wanted to kind of like bring us back to what we were talking about during the game. The Italian league, the PG Nats, is a developing league. They are not considered to be as much of a threat, if you like, as some of the other teams. They are going fairly toe-to-toe right now with K1ck. They took down LDLC. Regardless of the result, they look like a semi-decent team. I really do believe they have some fantastic moments in them. They just need the right moment in the next moment or the next team fight or so to really make it shine. K1ck are not out of this. They haven't broken the base.
I mean, they haven't broken the base, but they've got all the tools to do that. They've got all the team right there, up and available. All they have to do is just stop the resources from reaching SMS. Take control in the jungle, take the vision. You see all of these control wards on the bot quadrant of Eckas' jungle. It's completely K1ck's. It's not your jungle anymore. You're not allowed in it. You're gonna have to swipe a card, and when you swipe a card, you're probably gonna die. And on the top side of the map, you will see that slowly, when that Baron comes back and available in 2 minutes, you will see K1ck slowly but surely starting to establish their vision there as well. This is why SMS, their first move, was to try and take one push with 3 control words.
Thank you so much, observers,
The
for
real
highlighting
MVPs.
that one. The real MVPs of all of this, as they just highlight just the pure darkness and fear that you have to have if you're on the side of Samsung Morningstar. K1ck just own
Kind of like
everything.
when the Nocturnal goes down.
Paranoia. You got to be paranoid. You don't know what's going on. As we can see, Guubi just up in this top side trying to clear waves. Helmscout still has only 2.5 items or so. We can see Ibo jumping in, missing out.
Oh, but that was it. He jumped in. They can engage on him.
They have for themselves a couple of seconds, and he gets slowed as well. Solar Flare is perfect. The Galio ult comes down. The Hex Gun ultimatum as well. Cannon Barrage going to try and pepper him off. Not able to quite do it just yet. StenBosse, though, needs to get himself out. Puki style misses for the first time, and that's going to be a big fight. A lot of engages used, but it's not over just yet. K1ck is the one that falls. It's 4v5 for the moment. Ibo has got TP. He's TPing in. They want to try and break the base. There is the depth charge to try and get something. The hook, the flash. They kill Mystiques, but it doesn't matter because they got their man. They got the Corki. Guubi is untouched though. Guubi is still putting down the damage, and Guubi is going to be the one to try and keep his team in this game. They will eventually be able to back away. They will not lose an inhibitor. Samsung Morningstar survive.
And again, they survive yet another dive. That's very important for them. But being in your own base is not going to last for too long. Slowly but surely, you're going to have to come out to contest the Dragon. You're going to have to come out to contest the Baron. And already SMS are looking for an avenue to that bot river.
You can see here, they're just trying to get some kind of vision, but I don't think they've got
Shlatan.
enough. There's the taunt just going out. Going to throw out the True Shot Barrage, not able, but do they look for the fight on the back half? Flash there from Puki style. He needed to get out ASAP. And the teleport burn. Do they run straight for the Baron? There's no teleports available for the side of K1ck. They need to reset.
They need to reset, but then if you're gonna go over to the Baron area, you need control wards. And at this point, there's only one control ward on Eckas. They cannot take control over that top side river. Mystiques is already there to stop them dead in their tracks. And now slowly but surely, K1ck are gonna move into the top quadrant. Eckas is trying to establish some vision, but it's just instantly gonna get denied the second that K1ck group.
Again, there's flashes in the pan. There's moments for Samsung, but K1ck just looks so clean.
If there is a sliver of hope for SMS, it is this Baron. When they start this Baron from the side of K1ck, there's so much poke that can land in from SMS. We said at the start, it's going to be Leona engaging and the poke landing. Now, because it's later into the game, you need to land the poke first and then go in with the Leona.
Speaking of going in, Solar Flare goes down, package across the side as well, but he's got the phase rush, which means he is fine. Puki style lands himself an ult, not onto any major carries. The True Shot Barrage lands across everybody, but overall, it's just the supports that seem to be dying in this game overall. Need to get that Nidalee out of there. They will. Everyone just backing away. But look at the base. Ibo is just pushing in. He's looking for the end right now. He's got himself an inhibitor at the bare minimum. And now you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Catch-22, what do you do?
I just think you just give up both at this point. The jungle no longer belongs to you, and they're going to stop you from getting into the feed, or they're going to kill you, and they're going to finish with Ibo. So you have to defend what's most precious to you. It's not the Baron, it's your base at this point. Your Nexus is what matters. Maybe you get a miracle still by Eckas. They're pulling in the TP.
They're going for it. Ibo has joined his team, so it's a 5v4 right now as they got the TP coming in. Ibo is there. Mystiques will fall down. That's going to be the support down. Ibo going to look for something here, but the cannon barrage on top of 5 people, that's a lot of damage. Hextech ultimatum to try and buy some time. Ibo falls. It's a 3v5, and right now it looks like the side of Samsung may have given themselves another time. It's a shutdown. Puki style has fallen. The president is down, and K1ck are on the retreat. Samsung are still alive. Teleports are not available for the side of K1ck. They've got themselves a Baron.
K1ck fumbled under pressure. They tried to go for that fight. There was no Galio ult to back anyone up, to create the pressure, to create the space. And look what SMS have done here. They've brought it back. They've saved their base. They bought themselves so much time with this Baron buff.
What a clutch play. As you can see, Mystiques trying to play the bodyguard, trying to play keep away. But Guubi, he's finally on 3 items.
Look at Ibo.
He got himself so much.
Look at Ibo. He's trying to get clutch. I can't see by Guubi.
And
So clutch.
the cannon barrage was perfect. It completely zones off Matislaw and Shlatan, and it's just nothing the side of K1ck can do. This is the scary bit for K1ck. This is the problem. You're now coming into late game. 3, 4 items are coming in. Corki, Ezreal, and Gangplank are starting to come online. Baron will give them so much more time. It will give them so much wave clear against the super minions and bot side as well. Elder up in 2.5.
Do you know what you do when your whole team is squishing and you have no tanks?
Surrender.
No, you become the tank. Both the Corki and the Ezreal have completed their death stance. They are going untasked. You see that Ibo engages on them and he doesn't manage to get the execute because Matislaw is not there to finish them off with the death trap. So once you create that space between half of your team, which is Ibo at this point, and the other half, and the Graves can't reach, and the Matislaw can't reach, and the Galio, you're pretty screwed because you're gonna get kited by these mini-bosses.
Talking about tanks, there isn't really one on the side of K1ck either. You've got the Nautilus if he lands the Aftershock, but we see how quickly Mystiques dies when he doesn't get that extra bit off. Yes, you've got a bruiser in the Camille, and the Galio is very healthy, but I don't
I'd say Galio is thick. He's not necessarily a tank.
Yes, he's thick with 2 Cs, but he's definitely not a tank. But that's my point. Like, all of a sudden, if you don't get the right engage, if you're not able to get the right damage down, these guys will be melted.
Only 2,500 gold.
It's not gone anywhere.
It's
not gone anywhere. And this is the thing. We talked about this in the early game of last series. This doesn't matter right now, and we have a minute 24 until that Elder Drake spawns. Luckily for the side of K1ck, the Baron will have these burned off up the side of Samsung. K1ck should be able to get themselves a lot of control, as you are seeing right now, into that bot side jungle. And Samsung need to try and get this one. They need to make sure that they don't give it up because it is game over if they lose the Elder Drake.
So at this point, K1ck is able to set up the perfect team fight for them. They can get their vision down in the bot corner of Eckas' jungle. They can choke them completely off of the vision, and they can get the engage that they want to try and get key members from SMS. Luckily for SMS, all of their summoners are up and available. Guubi is extremely sleepy.
I was just about to say, all summoners are up for everyone. You are seeing...
I think it's more important for SMS.
I agree.
Because they're like the ones running away.
But at the same time, this is an all-out team fight. This isn't taking advantage of a TP. This isn't taking advantage of a flash burn. Everything is available.
I think we're like completely reset, and this is the fight that's going to determine the game.
And you can tell that Samsung also agree because they picked up 3 stopwatches as well. Corki, Ezreal, and Gangplank. They need to delay.
Like, this is the fight, guys.
This is it. And with that huge wave up in top side, 7 seconds until the Elder Drake. TP available for StenBosse. Corki moving down. Ibo sticking up on the top side as well. Package is available, and he's going towards it. Now, Dragon has been started. K1ck actually are not the ones to start it right now. It's going to be the side of Samsung. Elder Drake doesn't do that much damage. Now you see Shlatan in the back of the pit. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This could be it. TP on the backside, but it's going to be answered straight away as both sides come in. The package has to be used defensively. K1ck will be the one to die straight off the back. The Galio ultimate on top of the Hextech ultimatum means that the Corki gets taunted. They got him now. He is out and over this one. The Elder Drake is still going down. Guubi, you need to try and go for a hero play. I don't think he can though. He can! He can do it! Oh my god, they get the Elder! And now the fight ensues! They might be able to try and go for this one, but unfortunately for Samsung, it's all for naught. They don't have the carries. No one keeps the Elder Drake. And K1ck will take the win despite losing the Elder.
We were pulling our hair during this fight. Eckas makes it happen just slightly too late. They K1ck are able to wipe them completely out. Oh my word, SMS. Ooh, let me sit down for a second. Oh my god.
Take a breath, everyone. Join us in some calming breaths right there, but regardless of the results, you're proud if you're an Italian.
Oh my god. They're making minor regions proud.
They're making so many saves, and not to take away from K1ck. K1ck look legitimately.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
Greece, Balkans, take notes.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I just, again, not to take away from K1ck, but that was a fantastic display from Samsung Morningstar. And overall, I just feel like it's just, you know, one of those things we'll talk about a little bit more in detail, but fantastic win for K1ck overall, because Morningstar...
We need to gather our thoughts for a second.
We need to gather our thoughts. We're going to send it to a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about that crazy game a little bit more in depth. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after what was a crazy game. It was K1ck. You might have been surprised by my reaction, but K1ck actually won. And honestly, I can't put anything but praise them because we had two questions coming into this. Are Poland or the Ultra Liga worthy of 3 spots at, EU Masters? And are Morning Stars legitimately a team that can...
I'll add you a third question right there. K1ck went to the finals, they didn't win. Are they all the rage coming in as the first seed from the Ultra Liga? The answer was yes, yes, yes.
Definitely yes. Absolutely. It was a fantastic display there from K1ck as well. And it was such a close game overall, but K1ck just played so damn well around their waves, getting themselves into positions to catch out Samsung Morning Stars and really just punish that top side. StenBosse didn't really have any chance of coming into this game until incredibly late.
So here's the thing. Ivor is one of my personal favorite also players, like my dad's. I feel like he is the skill check top laner to beat in the top side. He will take the fight to you, and he knows he can win the matchup. He pushed StenBosse, not alone though. I feel like the Matislaw Shlatan combo had a lot to do with that. Shlatan is an extremely clever jungler that when he sees the opening, he will take it. Every time they were spotting Eckas, they were taking things away from him over and over again. Matislaw didn't even need to press his R button up to minute 18. And every time the combo was up and available for them, they were winning all the fights. Only one fight they didn't win, the R from Galio wasn't up and available, so they couldn't get in. Now that it was, as you can see, they completely dismantled them. But we have to give props to Morning Stars because they so deserve it as well. We were like, are they good? Or was LDLC bad? Sure, there's a lot of questions concerning LDLC, but I'll leave them on the side because Morning Stars came against both 2020 Spring Split finalists and they rocked the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for K1ck, this is a fantastic vote of confidence for the Ultra Liga. As you can see now with the standings, if you look all the way over into Group A where we finished 2-0 for K1ck. They take sole control of the top of that standings. Overall, you can see it's kind of what we expected from a lot of the #1 seeds for pretty much all the regions.
Except from Group D.
Except from Group... Well, everyone's sharing it. They like to share and care in Group D. And we won't see them until...
Except for they don't share with
We don't share in Intrepid Fox. But in fairness, Group D, we won't actually see how that will work until after groups, until next Group 2, Week 2, virtually for them. But you see tomorrow's schedule, we're going to start off with Morning Star going on Schalke Evolution, both looking to search for a win. LDLC need a win against K1ck as we end the day as well with 2 fantastic matchups with Mobistar Riders versus Sub Up Esports and Gamer Legion versus Ago Rogue. Honestly, like having looked at and we've seen EU Masters. We've been a part of a fair few ourselves. You can get very, very skewed groups. I feel like I would say 90% of the teams here are bringing it right now. There's very few actual kind of that's a guaranteed wins. Sorry, Intrepid Fox, but it's one of those. It's one of the few years now where I'm thinking, wow, like we could lose a Fnatic Rising, we could lose an LDLC, and it wouldn't even be that massive of a shock in hindsight of the games.
You're thinking, and we're talking about Group D because it is the group that strikes you the most because NLC only has 1 team, and then you have 2 #1 seeds coming in. Sorry, #2 Gamers Origin and Mouse Sports #1 seed from the DAC region coming in, and you're like, we're going to lose one of these 3 teams.
Yep.
And it's going to be huge because they're all fighting tooth and nail through that group.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you missed any of the games today, please check out the rebroadcast on twitch.tv/EU Masters. But we will be back tomorrow at 1800 CEST. Tune in. You do not want to miss the end of Group 1s, and we'll talk to you then.